Good morning. It is me, Pearl, from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned in Tarot. And we are here today to look at the balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine energies inside of ourselves, understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see this reflected back to us in our interactions with others. Good morning, Anna. In our environment, in our ability to manifest the things we desire. And we can glean things from people in our lives from these readings, but this is truly and truly your own energy. And once you discover how this is your energy and start to work to shift it, that's when you're really going to start to see transitions, transformations, and changes take place in your life for the better. All right, we're going to start today with the Divine Feminine because both sides have the same amount of cards showing, but we were just focused on the Divine Masculine for a week, so we'll start fresh with Divine Feminine today. Top of the deck, overall feeling, forefront of the mind, the Ace of Cups today from the lovely Fountain Tarot, which is one of my favorite decks in terms of its art and imagery. And this card is, of course, the self-love card, the self-care card. It's profound to me because I woke up so early, decided I would get up, took a shower, got done with the shower, was still dark enough that I really didn't feel like I could start doing a reading. And I put on a self-love sound bath thing and just laid there and fell back asleep again, which is why I'm late. And really was just determined to be in this energy today for myself. So I see Divine Feminine energy really working on this cup or enjoying this cup that she has filled up. There's fulfillment here because she's started to make decisions for herself about how she wants to feel. And when you decide that you want to feel better, just in general, and that's your only goal, when your goal isn't about, oh, I'm going to feel better when this person comes, or I'm going to feel better when this happens, when instead your goal becomes, no, I just want to feel better now, and I'm going to do the things in this moment that are going to make me feel better. Sometimes those things are going to be really loving, like joining a dance class or movement class, or taking a nice comforting bath, or preparing really nourishing foods that satisfy cravings we have, that feel comforting. And sometimes they're going to be less helpful, kind of numbing out for a little while or distracting ourselves. But all of these tools we have, Divine Feminine is relying on at this point to really get into this state of grace. And she's focusing on her self-love because the thing on the back of her mind is that the Divine Masculine energy is in the Knight of Wands energy. Now, we haven't seen the Knight of Wands for a minute. And this rarely happens, but this card just came out 4 times across 4 decks today. And I would have loved the 4 cards in the spread today to be the Ace of Cups, or honestly the Emperor, which I can see twice also in this reading. But no, it's the Knight of Wands. And it's literally the overall energy for both. It's underlying for Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine, and then it's actually on the front of his mind as well. So it's so interesting. Divine Feminine, she focused on herself for Empress Week, and here's her cup, and it is all filled up. Divine Masculine, we focused on him for Emperor Week, and the Emperor's here. He is prepared. And yet, the experience Divine Feminine is having in the back of her mind comes from this type of an energy. So we have to look at this and we have to say, is this in its shadow? I actually think that for Divine Feminine, in this placement in her headspace, this is not actually about the Knight of Wands shadow. This is about the light. And the light from the Knight of Wands is being swept off your feet, having passionate desire, really feeling like spontaneous and just, called into this into battle or to do whatever it is you need to do without a plan or without a strategy, but just kind of throwing caution to the wind with a little bit of the fool's energy and just going for your passions, even though, you know, you're not exactly sure how it's going to pan out. There's an element there in the Knight of Wands. And I think what it is Divine Feminine is feeling how she is worried and concerned about her own inconsistency with her passions in the past, but currently she feels swept up in like this vision that she has. She also feels the divine masculine energy is acting in Knight of Wands energy, but for her at the moment she's not as concerned because she's focusing on her own passion that's sweeping her up and carrying her to her next place. And this is the first card in her headspace, the Six of Swords, which is a beautiful card to have because this is moving on, transitioning, going to a new place. Now the new place is not known quite yet, but based on the next card placement and also based on just the nature of the Six of Swords, because the Six of Swords is about how these struggles from your past, these swords from your past, have allowed you to build a bridge from where you were to where you want to go, and you can now transition to this next point. And these are lessons that you have learned, and you don't know exactly where you're going to go, but you know that you'll never be back here again because you've actually learned these lessons. So that's why this Knight of Wands energy, to be underlying this card, it's like she knows everything she needs to know about this type of energy, and she's moving on from this type of energy. She's not clinging to it. The next card up is the Moon in reverse, and this is why I'm saying that she definitely doesn't know where she's going, but she's not anxious about it because we've got a reversal here. So she's not really kind of trapped in her fears and anxieties, and she's not lost in her fantasies either. She's understanding the lesson that she's learned is that the fantasies that were often presented by this Knight of Wands energy, they never panned out. They never became anything. So she's gone within, she's made this transformation, she's transitioned, and she's learned from these lessons so that she can release these limiting beliefs and also release her fantasy about the situation. She's right now facing issues with believing, like being believed by others, trying to discern what has been fantasy and what has been reality. The next placement is the Four of Cups upright, another card about fantasy, but in this case about grounding, because it's about coming into nature and being reflective. In this deck, we have one cup here, which this masculine isn't looking at, and we have these three here, which he also isn't considering anymore. Right now, he's kind of not even looking like he might be looking at anything. He might just be kind of being within, and this is like this meditative aspect of this. And I actually think that Divine Feminine is seeing Divine Masculine like this. He's not interested in the cups from his past, but he's not taking this cup that she has here. And she knows that he's just meditating, thinking about it, contemplating, and also fantasizing. And she's wanting to release any sort of illusions that she has in regards to this. She's like, my masculine isn't doing anything other than this. This is what he's doing. It might be allowing him to ground the connection, but it doesn't really mean anything for me at the moment. And so she's doing her own reflection of this energy and just kind of being meditative and really contemplating the difference between this fantasy and reality. We get the Nine of Cups upright. So we know here that there's an expectation of wish fulfillment, and it's in regards to this feeling that if I do this, if I move on, if I really do learn my lessons from my experiences with this past Knight of Wands energy, I will receive my wish fulfillment. To progress from where I have been to where I want to go, to release these illusions and fantasies in regards to this masculine energy, I know that my wish will be fulfilled. And what is the wish? The Emperor. This is to have this counterpart, to attract this divine counterpart is her wish. But she's releasing any illusions about this divine masculine. She's understanding in her head, this is what he's doing. This is what he's doing. Right? Maybe this is what he did do. And now because he's been doing this, now he's paused. He's reflecting. And so is she. She's also reflecting because she's like, wait a minute. I've been here for the readings. During Emperor Week, we discovered, he has to release third-party energy. He did. There's a rebuilding taking place. And now he's not doing anything. So he left this behind, but he's not doing this. And she's being realistic about it because she doesn't want to get into a state where this rigidity and stubbornness that comes from this masculine energy is going to cause her to be in this Queen of Swords energy in reverse, which we saw twice yesterday in the reading. First, we saw it upright for her, and then we saw Divine Masculine's fears about her. It was also upright for him in his heart space. Now we're seeing her release some of the shadow energy. She's realizing, maybe from the information she gleaned from yesterday's readings, or just from that reflection in the Four of Cups that she's been doing, but she's realizing that when Divine Masculine needs to take his time or reflect, she has to release the urge to become defensive or cutting or blocking him so that he can really truly heal to become this Emperor energy. She has this awareness that she is in her Emperor energy because she did the work of the Emperor last week. And she knows if she can be patient and not get into the overthinking, analysis paralysis type qualities of the Queen of Swords, cutting, wounding, defensive, if she can avoid those behaviors, she knows that with her own Emperor energy intact, she can attract Emperor energy that will match her as her counterpart. Let's look at her heart space. Top of the deck, overall feeling of her heart space. Girl. The Eight of Cups in reverse from the Field Tarot. And the word retreat is on here. And so we have a Divine Feminine who is kind of resisting. She feels like she should retreat, but she's resisting it entirely. And the reason she feels she should retreat is because of the niggling feeling, which we already know is the shadow traits. I just threw the Knight of Wands on the floor. And I'm not salty at all. The shadow traits of the Knight of Wands that we already saw in her headspace as the niggling thing in the back of her mind. She's so in tune because the heart space, the niggling fear in the heart space is this passion coming from Divine Masculine energy, which is your own? Is this passion that is inspiring you to keep going? Is this going to be consistent? And Divine Feminine wants to walk away from any past behaviors where this wasn't consistent. She's like, no. I don't want to have to walk away from this again. I don't want to have to do this again. And there's a fear here in her heart space. She's like, my cup is full. Why should I retreat? My cup is full. And so she's really fearing that the Knight of Wands that she thinks is in his passion, ready to sweep her off her feet, she's fearing she's going to have to walk away again from the same kind of behavior, player behavior, sexual energy, inconsistency in the in contact and communication. girl. 5 of Swords is in reverse, is clarifying the 6 of Swords, which is so brilliant. Because this is a card about not accepting defeat when it's in its reversal. When it's upright, it's about being defeated. It's about having battled for a long time and just being defeated and being like, you know what, there's nothing we can do. But Divine Feminine has refused to accept defeat. Instead of walking away from these swords and just, instead of retreating, what she's done instead is picked up the swords, taken another sword, and started to pave the way into this transition. She's like, you know what? I'm not going to just be defeated by what happened. I'm not going to be defeated by this exchange or this battle or these fears and anxieties and worries that I have. No. I'm going to use the lessons from these experiences to help me move on and go to the next point. And here she is in the Page of Swords energy, really willing to pick up the sword, even though she is uncertain about where she's going, and face these illusions that she's had about this masculine energy and about herself and her own ability to be able to manifest what it is that she desires. And so she's really believing in herself, even though these are such brand new ideas that she's not even exactly sure how to honor them. The 4 of Cups is in reverse and is clarified by the 9 of Wands in reverse. So while in her headspace, she is thinking about this masculine in this pause, not doing anything, not making any move, just being reflective and meditative. She has a sense that for her own self, that she has done this healing and isolation that was required. And there's no need anymore to be isolated and alone and refusing to accept any other cups or any other offers herself. And that she can't wait for the Divine Masculine to pick up this cup. She's got to come out of this isolation because she's ready and healed. And then if you don't believe that you're going to receive your wish fulfillment, whenever you get a 9 of Cups in the spread, whether it's upright or in reverse, it does mean that whatever it is that the querent is truly desiring, they will get this wish fulfillment. Well, here's the heart space clarifying. She's fully confident she's going to get what she wants. She's going to get what she wants. But she's very aware that this Emperor energy is very fixed and rigid and not moving. Here's the 8 of Wands. Not moving, right? Paused and reflective. Having healed, though, and still not coming forward. Needing something else. She's not receiving any messages, anything from this energy. And she's also not, from her own power, sending any messages in this powerful energy either. And then I can't make it up. This Queen of Swords in reverse is clarified by the Queen of Swords in reverse. So we have heart and head urging her to release the shadow traits in regards to the silent Emperor. Her heart is aware that if she can not be the Queen of Swords, not be cutting defensive, icy, isolating, releasing any tendency to isolate herself, if she can release this energy, then she will be able to receive this wish fulfillment, which is to see this Emperor make a move. But she knows that as long as she remains in the shadow of the Queen of Swords, this Emperor will not make a move. So this Divine Feminine is really working to stay heart-centered, holding on to that cup and that curiosity about this new place that we're going to. Okay, Divine Feminine, let's look at Divine Masculine. So, Divine Masculine. Oh my God. I'm blown away. Divine Masculine. Divine Masculine, overall forefront of his mind, the thing that he cannot stop thinking about, is the Knight of Wands in reverse. The Knight of Wands, the Knight of Wands, the frickin' Knight of Wands, and we'll just pull it now, the heart space. Because the same exact, oh my God. This is Divine Feminine's back of her mind and the niggling feeling of her heart space. This card, the niggling feeling of Divine Feminine's heart space, is in the front, the forefront of Divine Masculine's mind. And the niggling feeling is the thing in the back of Divine Feminine's mind. I can't make this up. I can't make it up. It's not, I can't. That's nutty and shocking. And like I said, of all the cards to repeat, to be in union about, but you know what it means? It means Divine Masculine is aware. And Divine Feminine is aware. They are aware that this energy is a problem, that it has been the problem, and that to move from the shadow into the light of it is a necessity. So Divine Masculine's thinking about how he has been a shitty Knight of Wands. And this can be anything from third-party energy to just really constantly trying to show Divine Feminine his feelings, his affection, or whatever, without regard for consequences, without regard for the fact that his idea of the way things are not her idea. And so when this happens, it causes her to go into this shadow, to feel defensive and to overthink and to want to isolate and be icy and cold to him. He's really conscious of the mess he's made by doing this, by feeling that urgency that comes from the upright Knight of Wands, wherever you want to look at it in the deck. The urgency that is like, no, but I have to tell her how much I love her. She has to know. If she doesn't know, she's going to move on from me because, and this is the because the niggling thing in the back of his mind is that he needs more time for these pentacles that he has planted to become abundant for him. And so this is the impasse, right? That if he acts like a Knight of Wands, Divine Feminine cannot entertain him. And if he doesn't act like a Knight of Wands, he must let go of the Divine Feminine to move on. So he's trying to be patient with himself and with the situation, and hoping that Divine Feminine has the discernment of the Queen of Swords and isn't in the shadow. And he's in luck because Divine Feminine is really trying not to be in the shadow of the Queen of Swords. She's trying to come out of this shadow, come out of isolation, come out of this deeply wounded place where you tend to be overprotective of yourself. The first thing on Divine Masculine's mind, and I am proud as a reader because we did Empress Week and Divine Feminine came out as the Empress after Empress Week. And we did Emperor Week, and the first thing on Divine Masculine's mind is the Emperor. And we already saw him today. In union, not mirrored. Not mirrored. When we see cards in full complete union, there is understanding, comprehension, and acceptance on both part of these energies inside of self. There is no doubt in Divine Feminine's mind that she has achieved her own masculine worth energy. And because of that, there is no doubt in Divine Masculine's mind that he has achieved his masculine worth energy. And this is a solid, stable foundation. And we're seeing this in its light traits. But Divine Feminine's heart is telling her that this Emperor is not planning to make any moves. And we see that that is true. He isn't. The Knight of Wands isn't coming. He's going to be patient instead and wait for these fruits to come to bear. And maybe that's frustrating to the feminine energy, but I'm actually, and I don't know if this is a testament to my healing, but I'm relieved. Even though I want to see this Emperor, because that's my wish fulfillment. My wish fulfillment is two parts. I wish for an Emperor, not a Knight of Wands. So for me, I feel relief seeing that he is not making any moves or not thinking about making any moves until he has completed this process that he's going through. Here is the Hierophant in reverse. Look how much the Hierophant looks like the Emperor in this deck, which is a beautiful deck, the Ethereal Visions Tarot. These are closely related individuals. They have experience, age, wisdom. They rule with an iron authority. They have completely different empires. This is the empire of the material world, and this is the empire of the spiritual world. This is the authority that rules over our beliefs and our ideas. This is about knowledge and information, higher level relationships. And Divine Masculine is releasing limiting beliefs about this authority, about this spiritual authority. This could have been a past belief system. This could have been a past contract, a past marriage. But Divine Masculine has released these limiting beliefs. Now, in the same position for Divine Feminine, we have the Moon card in reverse, which was also about releasing illusions. So there's a very similar energy there. For Divine Feminine, it is a much deeper subconscious sort of an exploration. For Divine Masculine, we're looking at the spiritual concepts that have taken hold of his intellectual mind. And he is digging out those concepts and releasing their hold over him. This is in the future placement, the Lovers. This is Divine Masculine's desire to be able to have a manifestation, to be able to experience this desire in the material. So if this is a career, if this is a relocation, if this is a state of being, a new baby, the Lovers aren't always about romance. It can be about wanting to be in union with Divine Feminine energy, but it's always about manifesting something from the spiritual, something that has been just in the spiritual world, just in this 5D energy. And this is a 5 card and culminating in a 6, right? The same kind of thing, right? 5 culminating in a 6. Progression from this limiting energy into this one that is more of freedom. Now, remember what Divine Feminine was thinking and feeling in regards to this 4 of Cups. Divine Masculine, he's not focused on the past. She's not afraid of third-party energy anymore. She knows that he's not interested in this. She's also aware that he's not taking her cup. And her feeling is this, for herself, she's ready to come out of isolation. She's healed these deep wounds. And this is her energy needing to leave this place where she's sitting and not taking any offers. And kind of having an understanding that there's no movement from Divine Masculine because he is still in this 9 of Wands energy, still healing these deep wounds. Not ready to leave this isolation. That's why Divine Feminine was seeing him there isolated in that 4 of Cups. But in order to maintain this masculine energy, he really needs to continue isolating and healing his wounds. This has been where he has been in the past. This is the past placement. He's been doing this in order to release this limiting beliefs by this higher authority, this rigid belief system or past partner, controlling partner, and be able to manifest this lover's energy that he wants to have. He has had to be healing these wounds. He's had to be isolated and hidden away. The current energy is the Ace of Swords in reverse, and in this deck it's so urgent to pick up that sword that the person picks it up by the blade, and it hurts to see the truth. And that's what the Ace of Swords is about. It's been very difficult for divine masculine to accept the truth about the limiting beliefs from the past. What's been most difficult is how much pain it causes to look very clearly at this at the damage that has been done by this experience. Yesterday, I was having a phone conversation with my sister about how one of the worst parts about discovering or healing, I guess, from sexual trauma in your life, especially anything that happened to you when you were so young, before the age of 4 or 5, that you don't really have solid memories of the experience, and it's vague, and it's just kind of something you've known but not really had any sort of context for. Once you start to embrace that, there's a moment that every assault victim has, which is the realization that no matter what happened to the individual who perpetrated this, whether they are brought to justice or if that is even a thing, because they're also wounded people and it's so complicated. Even if that happens, let's say the perpetrator achieves the justice you feel for you, even then, you still can never get back what was lost for you. Every choice and every decision you made about relationships, about how you showed up in the world, about what you wanted to do with your life, about whether or not you would allow yourself to, that moment for you was stolen. For you to ever feel like you could make choices that other people could make. And there was nothing you could do. First of all, it happened when you were so young, you were so helpless. There's nothing that you could do about the event. And there's nothing you can do about the regret that comes from the loss of innocence that took place in that moment and then caused you to be in a state of defensive self-protection for years. And this is something that resonates with divine masculine. He has a full, complete understanding of this. To really see clearly what was taken from him is too painful. And that's what he has been having to heal. To be able to face this truth requires a lot more strength on his part because of the wounds he's received from these limiting beliefs that he's had about his worthiness and about life in general. The last thing on his mind is the Queen of Swords, which means she's been here 3 times in this reading. Again, she was here twice yesterday and in Divine Masculine's heart space. Now she's in his head space. He's hoping again that she's going to be in the discernment of the Queen of Swords and not in the shadow, but he's intimidated about approaching her. And this is clarified by the Queen of Pentacles. He is afraid, in reverse. He is afraid that Divine Feminine will be in her Queen of Swords energy and will withhold her abundance, will withhold her offer from him. That she will block him or prevent him from coming forward because he can't face these hard truths, because he's having such a difficult time really facing the truth about these limiting beliefs and fully healing from them. And he's afraid that also she's going to see him and that he isn't worthy of her, that he's also being overprotective of her too. He's kind of going into the distorted feminine energy in regards to this Queen of Swords energy. When she becomes icy and aloof, he starts to become overprotective and clingy to this specific iteration of divine feminine. Now the heart space, we already know the top of the deck is this Knight of Wands upright. Good morning, thanks for joining. And we know that he is feeling in his heart space the same kind of feeling that divine feminine is having here in her head space, which is when the Knight of Wands is in the light traits. What the Knight of Wands is really passionate individual, romantic, well, Knight of Cups is more romantic, more sexual energy here, but like attraction energy, and able to sweep you off your feet and willing to just throw caution to the wind, to just go for it. And his heart is urging that, but his head is saying, no, wait. Do not rush forward. That's what his head is saying. Do not rush forward, because when we rush, when we don't take our time, I don't know why I flipped that. That should be upright. When we don't take our time, we cannot be the emperor. The emperor doesn't need to rush. This is not an emperor. He doesn't need to rush because he's secure. So if divine masculine can maintain this feeling of security, he doesn't need to rush. And that's so important. The niggling feeling is the Three of Pentacles in reverse. Now I'm using the vice versa deck today. So we could have seen this in the more traditional version where there are artisans working together. Or we could have seen this side, which is the solo practitioner here. But it comes out today like this, where we're looking at teamwork and collaboration and divine masculine feeling that this niggling feeling is right now, almost to his surprise, the two of them seem to be working together. The cleric and the artisan, the craftsman, right? The head and the heart. They do seem to be working together. We can see that, right? Head, heart, I want to rush. Head's like, no. I know you want to do that. I know you want to do that, but think about it. Think about it, man. Think about what has happened when we've done that. Be honest with yourself about it. Do not rush. We want to protect this discernment that divine feminine is in. We want to protect the light traits of this Queen of Swords so that she doesn't withhold from us. So head and heart are working together. And in external reality, divine feminine is working with masculine energy, right? He's not making a move. But I'm going to try not to be in the shadow traits of this Queen of Swords. I'm determined not to allow myself to be in this shadow. The first card in the heart space to clarify this Emperor card, divine feminine should be delighted. It's her Four of Cups, but it's in reverse because he is ready to take the cup. The Emperor is prepared to take the cup and to ground the union and to come out of fantasy. He's no longer fantasizing anymore. He is thinking of himself as this Emperor energy, and he doesn't have to be in this sad, reflective energy anymore where all these cups have spilled, and he's not even accepting a new cup. This Hierophant in reverse is clarified by Justice in reverse, and it is the back of the throne, and these scales have been just thrown to the ground. It's like there is a sense of there is no justice here because no one can see what is happening. It's all happening behind the scenes, behind the throne. And it feels unfair that that has to happen. Divine Masculine knows that it is unfair that Divine Feminine has to remain blind to what he's going through. There's this feeling of like, I wish that she could understand what I'm going through. And the Lover's card. Oh, wow, the next card, holy shit. The Lover's card is being clarified by the Five of Wands in reverse. So he doesn't want to struggle against this energy of manifestation anymore. He's sick of this feeling. He doesn't want to fight it. He wants to embrace this energy and be in the enjoyment and fulfillment of this manifestation of union. This isolation where he's healing himself, Nine of Wands energy, is being clarified by the Empress. And it's from the Vice Versa Tarot. We could have seen this, which would have been such a lovely match to our Emperor. But alas, right below our Emperor, this is what we see. So Divine Masculine is feeling that while he is isolated, not communicating, because he's withholding communication, right, with this Knight of Wands energy, in order to wait patiently to be in his Emperor energy. He fears that Divine Feminine is inaccessible to him, that he cannot see her, that he cannot have any interactions with her. She has closed off any means. This is a block. So she has sort of closed off any means for him to express love. But this throne is covered in these roses, which means there is love here. And it continues to grow. And it is not something that is fading away. There is also freedom here for Divine Masculine too. So there is fear for him that as he continues to take care of himself, which he needs to do, Divine Feminine will be inaccessible to him. He will not be able to know what she's doing. He will not have a right, really. He will not have the freedom to be able to have access to her. And this Ace of Swords in reverse is clarified by this Ace of Wands in reverse, because he does not want this to be true. This Divine Masculine really wants to be able to face these truths, but he's not. He feels not capable of achieving what it is that he desires. And there's a feeling that he doesn't really know exactly why that's true. And this Queen of Swords and Queen of Pentacles is being clarified by the Page of Cups we saw yesterday. This is the apology. And look at the image on the card. A turtle. This is the slowest moving apology that we have ever seen here. We could have seen it this way. He's here. He's ready. He's got his apology. He's got his heart-centered, true love, goofy, awkward kind of feelings. But in this case, we're seeing him slowly progressing towards the specific iteration of the Divine Feminine with this apology. And the reason he's moving so slowly is because of how afraid he is that she's going to be overprotective and overbearing, and that he's not going to be able to give her this apology, that she will not accept it. Okay, that's a sea turtle as well. All right, let's look at the oracles now. Divine Feminine, how can we help you out today? Well, you're in the shadow attributes of the Samaritan, which is exacting appreciation and recognition for the help that you offer. So you need to come into the light in regards to this trait. You've kind of entered into a situation again where you're like, I'm doing all this healing, and he's not even taking the comp. Well, what'd you do the healing for? To get what you wanted, or to be healed? And in your healing have healed someone else, which is the benefit of the twin flame journey. So there's that. There's also this feeling that you're not working together, right? These are trapeze artists. They have to look at each other, communicate really closely, or they'll drop one another. So there's this feeling here that you're not quite, you're kind of ignoring some of the healing that has to take place for this masculine. You're sort of ignoring it. You're just like, okay, well, I'm healed, so. And you really need to keep focused on your own strength and resilience, but also be making that contact, that eye contact with the divine masculine, and watching him accept the help you offer and become in his light traits. And if like let's say if that meant that, like, as you healed your inability to be like physical, or your fears of intimacy, let's say you heal your fears of intimacy, and then divine masculine does too, but he's still not ready to come forward, and he enters into a third party relationship, and you're very salty about it because you're like, what the hell, I healed this and now he's healed this, and now he's off with this other energy. Like, that's so unfair because I healed him so that he would be with me. And that can't be why you do it. You just have to heal yourself and know that that process helps out divine masculine, and be happy for him. You're in the light traits of the engineer, which is the ability to give creative energy a practical expression and a talent for designing resolutions to common dilemmas. This resonates with me because I'm working as a producer and engineer for the last 2 weeks. And I feel very strongly about this ability to give my creative energy a practical expression, and finally take this music that I could only hear in my head and give it a practical expression. So you might be doing similar things in your life right now. The creativity that you've nurtured during your Empress Week is now maybe becoming practical in a way that it wasn't before. Good morning, Julie. So we have this reliance on mechanistic solutions with our regard for emotional consequences passing away. And instead, you're just really able to take your creative energy and give it this practical expression, even if you might have dilemmas in doing that, even if financially it might be kind of difficult. You're also in the light attributes of the lover, which is great passion and devotion and unbridled appreciation of someone or something. And you're no longer in an obsessive passion that harms others or self-destructive devotion. And it's not a surprise to see divine masculine in the same energy, right? He has unbridled appreciation of someone or something, just like you do. And you're in the light of this, which is wonderful. You're not obsessive right now. You're actually in a pretty healthy state with it. Your guardian angel is here to support you in blessings of abundance. So you're receiving a lot of abundance right now in a lot of various forms, maybe that you're not even aware of. And you know, you have to change your thinking, because a lot of times we think of abundance only in terms of money. But it's also about companionship, relationships, being seen, like an abundance of anything. Anything can be in your life in abundance. And sometimes money, physical money, it doesn't have to come into your account for you to be abundant. For instance, I've been using a car service that's relatively new. It's only 2 years old. And you know, when new businesses start, they give you a lot to get you to become loyal. But I didn't choose them for that reason. I chose them because they pay their drivers as employees and they have an app like Lyft or Uber. So I still have the convenience of the Lyft, Uber type platform, but I have the confidence that the people that are driving these cars are actually paid a decent living wage, at least minimum wage, which really Lyft and Uber drivers do not make minimum wage. They do not. And if they tell you they do, they're being very gracious, because when you factor in the wear and tear on the car and all the costs, and also just, you know, your safety as you're doing that job, and the fact that you have no benefits at all, no, like, you can't even get unemployment, like, unless there's a pandemic, there's a real problem with that structure. So I chose them because of my to be conscious of how I was spending my money in terms of if I need to get around, I'm actually helping out people who are being treated with respect. And that's important to me because Uber and Lyft get such a huge percentage of the money that when you pay a fare, the driver always gets a very small amount and the company gets the rest. And that is, I drove for them for a year. I can show you, my credit card pull, I pulled in $30,000 for them and I made $10,000. So they made $20,000 off of me, and I would not have had unemployment during COVID if it wasn't for the extreme circumstances that we went through. So, problem with that. So I chose this new company. And that's why I chose them. And I'm pretty devoted to that. I'm like, listen, if you're a shitty company, if you cost a little bit more, I don't care. I just feel that this is in alignment and I will spend my money here. That decision has been so interesting because I have never spent $1 yet getting a ride from this company. The first one, I don't know why they didn't charge for me. It was supposed to be $10 off, but they just didn't end up charging me for it. I was like, okay, cool, thank you. The second ride, there was a mix-up when I ordered the car. Their system didn't send me a confirmation email, and so the car wasn't arriving on time. And I wasn't even upset. I wasn't in a rush. I called them and was like, hey, this is my second time using the service. This hadn't happened before, and I just noticed I didn't get a text from the app saying that the car's coming. And they're like, oh no, we're so sorry. There's been a mix-up, but we'll have a car there. It's going to be 20 minutes late. We do apologize. Please let us give you a free ride. And I was like, okay, cool. I wasn't even upset. And I had a $50 promo that I had received when I first signed up. So I already have $50 just sitting there in my account for rides. Take that ride. I take another ride, and on that ride, I didn't have to pay for it because I had my balance on my account. Didn't pay for that one. Then I got a call in the ride where they had messed it up. And they called me again in the ride, and they were like, oh, we see you canceled the ride. And I said, oh, no, I'm in the ride. And then they were like, oh, no, we're so sorry. We didn't realize. Let us just give you another ride. And then I was telling the last driver, now everything's fine. All my rides work. There's no technical glitches. And, they're not giving me free rides, right? So I'm in the car talking to the driver and telling her about that experience. I'm like, so I actually haven't even paid for one of these rides yet. And she laughed, and I told her why I chose the company, and we talked to whatever. I also told her I did tarot. And she passes back to me a $75 promo that can be applied to my account. So I just got another $75 worth of rides. Didn't have to pay for any of them. That's a form of abundance. And a lot of times we forget about that, and we think only as abundance as what's in our bank account. But my decision, which was in alignment with my beliefs, which is like, I want to invest in a company that's going to be good for other people who I have empathy for. The universe was like, we love that. That's in alignment with you. So we're going to make sure that you're able to use this service because that's what you want to do. I haven't even been able to give them money yet. I will eventually, I guess. But it's just an interesting aspect that when you start to acknowledge that abundance isn't just getting a bigger paycheck or getting, a windfall of money. It comes in all kinds of ways. And celebrities, they don't experience abundance just in cash form. They get free everything because abundance starts to just be this. You realize it's energy, that it's energy, there's nothing else there but just energy. The moment I realign with love, a clear direction is presented to me. And I told that story about that because I was talking about abundance, but the same thing is applied. I aligned with love. I wanted to share my abundance with people in a loving way. And when I did that, the universe presents a clear direction to me and even pays for me to get there. So it's so important for you to be aligned with your authentic code, as Lacey Phillips calls it from howtomanifest.com. But what is authentic to you? Aligning with what your beliefs are, which is why if you have to release limiting beliefs that were unjust or unfair, that are painful and difficult for you to confront, and you don't really desire to confront them because you know how painful this experience is, that requires alignment with love to receive that clear direction. Healing, Divine Feminine, we see you having done a lot of this healing, and we're getting this card again for you. So this is an energy that you're continuing to be in. And if you feel frustrated, you're like, oh, am I ever going to be done healing? I'm going to be like, no, you'll never be done healing. You will heal certain specific things throughout your life, and you will grow and change and transform and move on from them. But our bodies are always healing. You bump your arm and get a bruise, your body's healing. Your skin cells are dying and sloughing off, and new cells are being reborn. You're always healing. The things that science told us about the brain being able to heal, certain things are not being able to heal. We know that's not true now. There's many things that prove that we are constantly in a state of healing, that our body's natural state is one of wellness, that's what it constantly comes back to, equilibrium and balance. That's what the body is always seeking. So if their body is always healing, I don't think that you will have a time when your spirit is not also doing such. And the thing that you should be glad about is that the deep healing that you have been doing is preparing you to receive things you've not been allowing yourself to receive. But there's going to be other things, and there's going to be more healing. Be bold and make the first move. So, Divine Feminine, this is in your life. It is in your life that you need to be bold and make the first move. It's funny because for some reason I saw a hand holding a sword on this card, and I was like, it's like the Ace of Swords, but that's not there at all, and I don't even know why I saw that. But there's this feeling of, and I guess maybe because right below in the spread, we've got this Divine Feminine energy that looks like she's ready to be bold and make this first move, even though she doesn't know what that's going to entail. So whatever this means for you, this could be in regards to Divine Masculine, but it does not have to be. I feel I've already made so many moves for me in that direction. I don't think that's what it is personally. I think that it is more that you need to make the first move in your life to honor your Emperor energy, because you're not moving, honey. You're in your Emperor energy, but you're not moving. You're reflecting on a masculine energy that's not moving, but that's you, baby. So like, you need to be bold in this Emperor energy and make movement towards something that is really going to fulfill you. If Divine Masculine is sitting there not doing anything, that's not going to be fulfilling. So that's not the bold move that you would want to be making. Oh, now I know why I was like, why did I see a sword on this card? Because right behind it, which I wasn't focusing on, is a warrior woman, and we already saw her today. Divine Feminine is definitely in this energy of being willing to face her truths. This is, have you answered your deepest calling? So this curiosity, this unveiling of illusion, this brings us to this point of our deepest calling, which is to fulfill our own wishes. And right now, I wish that my hair would stop getting stuck in my elbow, which is annoying. I guess I should cut it. It's too long now, like too long. I was like, remember when your hair was like really short, like flapper style? And we are getting the wasp spirit, which is sometimes life stings. Sometimes it does sting. This is 64. Let's see. So you're getting the protection message. Are you holding on to anger, jealousy, or resentment because you got stung? Or could you have just stung yourself by comparing yourself to others? There will always be someone else who is more successful, happier, thinner, richer, etc. Jealousy is the false belief that you can't have what you want, or someone could take away something that was supposed to be yours. Let it go and release all those feelings that are making the sting hurt long after the stinger has been removed. Wasp spirit has woken you up, and now you are called to trust that disappointment can lead you to a different and better path. Align with spirit now. Align with love, and it will provide a clear direction, and trust that this too shall pass and is already doing so, for the pain subsides when you stop telling the story of how much it hurts. And that's such a valuable message. The pain subsides when you stop telling the story of how much it hurts. All right, Divine Masculine, let's finish up your oracles. You are in the light attribute. Sorry, my alarm went off. You're in the light attributes of the Virgin, which is you have released your fears of intimacy and you are maintaining symbolic purity of heart. And I'm seeing very large insect. I never have those, so that's weird. Because we just saw a wasp thing, and that was not a wasp. It might have been a fly, but it's weird. Okay, but you're in this Virgin energy. We have here, too, this Page of Cups energy. And this slowly but surely making your way to make this apology, making your way to be in this symbolic purity of heart and spirit. Divine Masculine, I know you hate this, but practice makes perfect. You just got to keep practicing these new skills. You're releasing old ones. You're resisting it. You're resisting it because you don't know what to do. You don't know what to do now. If you release this old belief, if you release these fantasies and illusions, then you're like, what do I do? Well, you practice the new version of yourself. You practice new skills, even if you're not quite good at them yet. I honor how I want to feel. Remember, I said it's about feeling better now. You have to honor how you want to feel. You control how you feel. You think you don't, but you do. You control how you feel by how you focus your thoughts. If you are in a space where you are feeling negatively, first of all, there's nothing wrong with it. It is not a bad state to be in. It is not a wrong state to be in. So release shame about negativity. Negativity is just the shadow. That's it. It's just the shadow. What bug are you? You are so huge. And positivity is the light. And there are times when feeling sad or in our grief or loss or, listening to sad music, there are times when we need the release that comes from that emotion. So there's nothing wrong with the emotion, but you get to choose to entertain the thoughts that are giving you the emotions or not. That is how you choose how to feel. If your thoughts are making you feel scared, worried, sick, alone, defeated, discouraged, unworthy, then you have the ability to distract yourself from those thoughts and choose thoughts that don't continue to make you feel that way. Now, sometimes that feels almost impossible, but it is always possible to shift your thinking. That is what meditation teaches you. To focus in meditation means you sit there quietly. Everybody's like, oh, how can I do meditation wrong? Is there a way to do it wrong? Is there a way to do it right? The point of meditation is simply to notice your thinking and then notice your breathing. When you start noticing your thinking, you notice your breathing again. You start noticing your thinking, you notice your breathing again, or the air conditioner that's humming in the room, or whatever sound you decided to focus on, or whatever you're stopping the thoughts with by focusing on it for a second. That gives you this skill, which is when you start to hear the tumult of all your crazy fears and thoughts and worries, you have a moment where you can decide, shall I continue to think these things? Which means, shall I continue to give these things attention? Or shall I turn my attention from this at this moment until I am not afraid, and then I can face this thing? If you're worried about money, you can't solve money. If you can distract yourself from it, get into a place where you feel a little better, and then take a small bite of the money pizza that you have to deal with and chew and swallow before you start the next one, you will feel better. Divine Masculine is in the process of closure. He is closing out those past connections. He's resisting the painful truths that come with this experience, but he is doing this. Surrender to the divine. There's really nothing more to say about that. This emperor must surrender. Now that he feels in his authority, he must give the reins to the divine and let the divine drive the chariot. And then we're getting Pleiades, double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity. This comes out a lot. And this is a reminder that there's two parts of this mission. Channeling spirit, which is what we do here in the cards or in artwork or craft or giving messages to people or whatever, and uplifting humanity. That is the mission. That is the work. This card does not say that your mission is to be with one person on the planet and have a house and a car and a couple of kids and a dog. If that happens for you, it's a side effect of you being in alignment with your mission. And your mission doesn't have anything to do with another person. Your mission is to channel and uplift. And you will likely meet another healer who is doing the same work. Then you can collaborate. But it's not your mission to be with one person. Bobcat spirit. Life is a mystery. It truly is a mystery. This is the 8 card, which is that 4/4 stability energy. And we did have 2 emperors in the spread. The Bobcat moves furtively and mysteriously. And when Bobcat spirit appears to you, she brings a powerful reminder that not all things in life can be explained or understood through the power of intellect. Trying to figure things out, find logical explanations, or predict what will happen based on reason and facts will not provide you with the certainty and comfort you seek. Bobcat asks you to trust in the great mystery and let the secrets of the universe reveal themselves to you through direct experience. Allow your vision to slip into soft focus and you will see between the lines and observe what has been hidden there all along. Bobcat spirit helps you know intimately the pulse of the divine in the world. Trust in the wisdom and revelations that come to you, yet know that understanding may not come as you would like it to. What you experience through your heart and intuition, which comes to you as the voice of your inner knowing, will guide you now as you accept that secrecy is woven into the fabric of existence. No matter what, the appearance of Bobcat spirit is a sign that you are being called to trust, even when what is revealed does not agree with your need for intellectual certainty. That's a big one for our masculine energy. Very difficult. All right, let's quickly go through these last cards where we are in union as a couple. We are in the light attributes of the king energy. Enlightened, benevolent leadership benefiting those in your charge. So you are both really in your authority. You are both in emperor energy. You're both enlightened right now. You're both being benevolent and you're benefiting those around you that are working with you and for you. Your excessive feelings of entitlement, rulership without restraint, that is gone. So the aspects of the emperor, the shadow aspects of the emperor are not present for the both of you in your masculine worth energy. Saint Bernadette is here to tell you to speak your truth. And there is an emphasis here. She really is supporting you in being able to speak to one another. Speak, not write, not see images. Speak with mouths and hear with ears. In every moment, the universe is conspiring to bring me toward right-minded thinking and the energy of love. So this is a belief that you need to really start to embrace and maybe repeat for yourself. Every moment the universe is conspiring to bring me toward right-minded thinking and the energy of love. That is the truth. That is the momentum. That is the motion. You both have a lot of strength, and you're doing your best to keep your egos in check. You have had to fight for this, and your hard work is paying off in this Capricorn energy. Remember to call in your tribe, your soul family. You don't have to do it alone. Call in those that are around you and ask them for your support. I'm getting like, you could even set up a scenario where you see this person when you're surrounded by their best people, by the strongest members, of their soul family. And then you're getting the protection message from Lizard Spirit, which is dream the world into being. And to get that in reverse reminds me a lot of that Four of Cups energy coming out in reverse in the beginning here. And dreaming the world into being. The protection message is, have you been allowing your imagination to run amok and dream up a nightmare that seems to have come true? Fear not, for whatever dreaming you did in the past can change today as you dream anew. Wake up from the perception that everything is wrong. Lizard Spirit asks you to open your eyes and consciously dream a better dream. What would it look like to already have what you desire and be the one you wish to be? How might it feel to work toward co-creating this new dream as a reality in the world of the senses, drawing it out in the world of dreams and building it in the world of form? That's the practical expression aspect from the engineering card from Divine Feminine. Trust in your ability to dream anew. Honor it today. So trust that you have the ability to dream a new dream together that releases this past energy and these worthiness issues that have held us back for so long. All right, let's close out the reading with some practical advice for what we need to do or keep in mind this very day that would help us come into union. And I'm using a new deck here by Twin D, who is a lovely YouTube reader, who has her own deck. And then I'm using the Island Time Wellness cards as well for this final energy. So what practical things can the Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine energy do today that will help bring them into union? Please like, subscribe, share, click on all the links. There's a link in bio with my YouTube, my Patreon, which you can receive additional content. And I actually have to do the reading for today. It was not on my schedule and I completely forgot to do it yesterday. So I will be doing a 3-card, it actually ends up being 6 cards because it's masculine and feminine spread, that will look at the next 2 weeks, what the energy has been like, what it's like now, what it's going to be like, and what we should do on a daily basis to help ourselves. So if you're interested in that, click the link, join my Patreon at the $9 level, and you'll receive 3 additional free readings, or 3 additional readings every month. One that checks in on the whole month and our intention setting for the whole month, and 2 that check the energy periodically. All right, Divine Feminine, we will start with you today. This is so powerful to me because I literally have yesterday I was faced with an incredible test. And when you get close to manifestation, you receive tests, and I'm acutely aware that that was happening to me. But someone who has believed in me for a long time has withdrawn their belief in what's happening in my life. They've told me that they don't believe me, that this individual that is my Divine Masculine actually, like, honestly knows about me, is what this person told me, who has been one of my biggest champions for the longest time. It was shocking. It was something I knew because it's been like unspoken for the last 9 months or so. As the things in my life have been getting more intense and it's become more real for me, for this person it became less real. And I immediately had to start asking myself why I was experiencing this. And the thing that I was telling myself was, first of all, I know what is real and what is not now, and I didn't before. And so someone who I really trust telling me they don't believe in me is the ultimate test. And I said, well, if what you're saying is true, then I would be seriously questioning my mental health. Like, it would make me, if what you are saying is true, then that this isn't really happening, then I am delusional. And that I would need help for. And so I hung up from that conversation, and I kind of had to process that the whole day, and was like, no. I know how energy works. And if this energy was not meant for me, then the fruits would show. Because that is one of the quotes in that always sticks with me, that many will come in my name, but you will know who is truly come in my name by the fruits of their labor. And that's the card that Divine Feminine is getting today. She's getting, trust that God is the master of your life, and look at the fruits of your labor today. So when you are trying to suss out if you're making the right choices for your life, think about where you are and the fruits of the labor that you've put in. If you've put in all this labor towards this masculine energy, and you look around and you have loss and suffering and strife, and you're not doing what you want to do, and you don't have clarity about what it is that you want to do, and you're not becoming the best version of yourself, and you're isolating from family and friends, and you're depressed, and you're cut off, the fruits of your labor show you that you're not trusting in God. You're putting your hopes into something that is clearly not serving you, right? You're resisting this retreat. But when I looked around and I asked myself, okay, let's say I'm delusional. Let's live in the space where I am delusional. What are the fruits of that labor? And I looked around and I was like, I have my own apartment in Los Angeles after years of struggling with homelessness. I have my career taking off that I'm paying for myself, producing music that is of the highest caliber that I've ever created ever before in my life. I have new supportive, loving friends. I have guided people to their passions and their desires. I have helped my son get away from a very restrictive, abusive environment and brought him into a position where he can live with me again. So that person who withdrew their belief in me, because that's what they did, they invalidated my experience and said, I don't believe in you. I don't believe in what you're saying or doing. And it's a family, somebody in my family who has always been there. That was my moment to say, okay, I trust this person. I love this person for my whole life, and I feel like they must feel very strongly to protect me in this way. I better look at the fruits. And when I did, I saw that I could trust in God, and that God is the only person I should be trusting in, person, entity, being. And that is my source energy of myself, my connection to my intuition. That person outside of myself doesn't have my experience. They don't know the fruits of my labor. And so that's something you need to really take into account today, Divine Feminine. Divine Masculine. I did not expect to see these cards for you today. You are getting photograph in reverse, which is looking at your photos, missing you, nostalgia, and making new memories. So to me, this is stop doing this. Stop looking at these photos of these memories and start making new memories. And the other card for you today is Twin Flame. But this is a card about balancing, and it's a card about union, and it is like the Lover's card at the bottom of the deck. I don't know why I said that. Not at the bottom of the deck, but the Lover's card that already showed up for Divine Masculine today. It is this union energy, this coming together. And so, honestly, Divine Masculine, the message you're receiving right now is stop focusing on the past and make new memories instead. And come into union and balance with this side of yourself that you have been isolating yourself from because it's too painful to look at your accountability in terms of coming together. That when you when you do come together, you have to admit that you didn't for so long and that you could have. And there's regret there and there's pain. But you have to stop focusing on the past and come into union now in the present. The bottom of the deck for Divine Feminine is make time to play and relax. And for Divine Masculine, it is the Golden Mirror, which is self-absorbed narcissist, one-sided relationship, and love bombing. So this is the shadow. Divine Feminine, this was in reverse. You need to make time to play and relax. You have a tendency to not fully be enjoying what you are receiving right now because you're focused on the love bombing, right? Divine Masculine, the Knight of Wands appeared in this reading 4 times. If I were going to choose a card to represent one-sided relationship and love bombing, I would definitely choose the Knight of Wands. And your shadow is to release this narcissist empath paradigm. You are not a person that suffers from narcissistic personality disorder, but you may have been raised by one. And so your human relationships tend to be this golden mirror type of a deal. Narcissist, empath, back and forth. And you've been in the narcissist role, which involves this love bombing that you do to Divine Feminine. And you fucking know it. You fucking know it. There's your golden mirror right there. So, stop with this energy. Divine Feminine, relax. Come into union. Stop being stuck in the past and come into union inside of yourself so that you can have this union outside of self. Stop rejecting that feminine energy. Stop rejecting the emotions. Stop rejecting the feeling that you have that you need to have comfort and nourishment from a feminine energy. That is within you. But you have to allow yourself to have that connection inside of self. And Divine Feminine, you trust. You look at the fruits of your labor and you trust that you are on the right path. All right, I have to go. I have my coven meeting with my coven sisters very soon. And then I have my scheduling. I don't know what else I have today. I'm sure there's stuff. My schedule keeps filling up. I get to my actual day where I have to talk about my schedule, and I've already filled out my schedule for the week because people call me over the weekend. I'm like, wow, this is very different than when I was in COVID. Thank you so much for joining me today. I shall see you on Wednesday for unblocking or obstacles removed spread, where we will take a look at masculine and feminine, what their obstacle is and how we can remove it. And then on Friday, we will do a wild card reading. On Sunday, we will see Grace Strega at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks so much, and I shall see you Wednesday. Have a glorious day today.